These two have got to be careful that they don't fight with one another. We know that Furusato, as he did yesterday, has got a last couple of laps sprint in him.
Yeah, we saw in yesterday's race, he tried on the second last lap, the penultimate lap, to open a gap and then leave it with a comfortable gap on that final lap. Wasn't able to do it. Now the key thing for him is this opening couple of sectors. Is he able to open up enough of a gap? We know that the run through 6, 7, 8 and 9, that's where you can use the slipstream and close right up. Sharil's close enough to be able to use some of that toe in the run down in towards turn 10.
Championship situation is fairly straightforward with the two riders behind him. If either of them gets through on Furusato, the championship will go another race. But if Furusato stays out in front and takes what will be a 6th consecutive victory of this 2021 campaign, then he will have sewn up the Asia Talent Cup with 2 races to spare, and that's the way it looks at the moment. Furusato has been almost untroubled at the head of the field.
Yeah, he's done a really good job in this race to keep the cool head. We saw the same in yesterday's race, but Sharil is right there with him. Gunmi has now lost a few tenths of a second. He's 4/10 of a second behind Sharil, so suddenly it's left to the top 2 in the championship for most of this season, now battling it out in the final lap and a half.
It is a near repeat of race 1 yesterday, when on the final 2 laps, Gunmi, the number 5, got dropped back from the lead duo. These are the top 3 in the championship, and they currently sit in the order that they are in the classification as well. For Sato, who leads it by 46 points over Daniel Sharil. Gunmi 52 points down on Furusato, so would need to beat him to keep his personal hopes alive. And at the moment, it's all about Furusato heading his way towards victory. 1 to go.
Yeah, really important for Furusato just to think about where he can defend on the run in towards turn 10. He has been stronger everywhere else around this track all the way through this weekend. He's going to force Sharil to go around the outside into turn 1.
Daniel Sharil, who was more than 3/10 of a second faster than Furusato, the race leader, last time around, gets around the outside into turn 1, and Furusato eases him out, and then there's a bit of a moment for Daniel Sharil coming through the first turn. He's going to have to work harder than he ever has if he wants to beat Furusato, the man of the moment.
Yeah, super riding from Furusato. Forced Sharil to go the long way around the outside down the start-finish straight in the run into turn 1. He's going to have to try and do something similar on the run into turn 10 as well. That's Sharil's best chance to make the move.
We saw Sharil was willing to make the move wherever he could. Yes, no big moment there for Gunmi, and he's gone out onto those big serrated curves on the outside line as well. So that rules him out of a fight between these top 2 because there's 6/10 of a second already between second and third positions, and Gunmi has got it all wrong there on the final lap. He holds on for a podium position. Sharil to the outside line then as they come in towards turn number 10. Tries to go the long way round. He'll now switch it back. It gives him the inside line for turn 11. Daniel Sharil has thought about this in advance, but he's not quite alongside. Furusato defends the position through turn 12, where Daniel Sharil passed Furusato here yesterday. These two have swapped and changed their 8 thousandths of a second across the last timing point between the two of them. Sharil gets nerfed to the inside. He takes that as his opportunity, as his call to arms into turn 13 and comes through. Then Furusato recovers it coming through turn 14. It's a head-to-head on the final lap that will determine whether we go to another race in the Asia Talent Cup for 2021 or whether we have just settled the series standings. One final sector to go. It's Furusato, the leader, on the number 15. It's Daniel Sharil, the pretender, on the number 21. I don't think he's going to be close enough coming off the final turn. It's a drag race down to the line. Furusato holds on, and Taiyo Furusato claims the 2021 Asia Talent Cup with 2 races to spare.
I actually thought Furusato might have gone too defensive there in the final sector. Judged it to perfection. Really good race performance from him. Hongo takes 4th. Thompson's up inside the top 5 once again as the rest of the field comes through to claim the points paying positions.
Yes, Thompson rounding out your top 5. Feardaus for Jeter, an isolated 7th position. Wakamatsu in 8th for Dilla, and Dandy rounding out your top 10. But it was all about the top 2 in the context of the championship. We had a very similar race to what we had yesterday. We had exactly the same outcome. A 6th win of the season for Taiyo Furusato.
Yeah, and if you want to see how on the limit Sharil was to try and make the moves to take the race lead, we saw through turns 6 and 7 he had a bit of a moment. We saw on the run into turns 12 and 13 he had another moment. That was the deciding factor. It meant that into turn 15 Furusato was able to take a normal line. He didn't have to defend the position. He did take a defensive line on the run through 15 into 16, and he was able then to exit the corner nice and clean and hold on to that race victory. He was able to take it by 1/10 of a second, and just like we saw yesterday, able to lead pretty much the whole race here. Nice and comfortable. 6 from 6 from Furusato.
And you get the impression that Daniel Sharil just felt that he had to throw everything at Furusato if he was going to have a hope of beating him and pushing this championship fight on. I think realistically, even if Daniel Sharil had got through to hit the front, Furusato would have been a matter of a few points away from claiming the title, and more than likely would have done it this afternoon anyway. But Furusato, 150 points out of a possible 150, still 50 up for grabs over the course of this afternoon and tomorrow. But Daniel Sharil is now 51 points behind Gunmie, 61 points with only 50 remaining. Daniel Sharil doing his level best to keep his championship hopes alive. A fourth consecutive second place for him, and all of them have been less than a second to the race winner. Gunmie with another third position. It's the same podium trio as we had in race 1 here yesterday, and it was a very similar race the way it panned out, the way it played out. And it does mean that each of those 3 riders extend the gaps between them, and directly behind them to Carter Thompson, who got relegated into the secondary group and had to work hard just to come home for 5th. And the championship standings upon the completion of round number 3. Still 1 round to go that starts as early as this afternoon. No change in the top 7 positions, as you can see. Hakim Denish and Kanta Hamada both missing from the remainder of this 2021 season through injury, so they're likely to slip back. Sharil Sharil is in pride of place with an opportunity to pass the pair of them. The top 4 look fairly settled, although we could still have a battle for second in the standings, with Gunmie and Daniel Sharil only separated by 10 points. So it's time to greet our podium trio for race 2 of round 3 in the 2021 Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup. It is the Indonesian round. And first up, for third position, Gunmie, the 15-year-old from Japan. That was his 8th race start in the Asia Talent Cup, and his 4th podium appearance, still yet to better that second position that he managed in the season opener of 2021 in Qatar. Second place going the way of Daniel Sharil. He's going to have second place trophies coming out of his ears the way things are going in 2021. It is a 9th podium finish for him. Yet another performance from him up in those top 3 positions. Remember, he's one of the most experienced men in this paddock. That's his 18th race start in the Asia Talent Cup. Still waiting to add, though, to that win tally. But your race winner, little doubt as to who it might be before we got underway, but he was again made to work for it. If anything, Taya Furusato is probably pulling on the level of the other riders around him.
Yeah, certainly has done a great job all the way through this season. And when you look at what we saw from Pedro Acosta in the Moto3 World Championship coming through from the Red Bull Rookies Cup and from CEV Moto3, there is that level that you can reach from these Talent Cup races. And certainly for Furusato, he's going to be a rider that everyone's going to be quite keen to see how he gets on from the Qatari Grand Prix onwards next year.
Race winners trophy presented to Taya Furusato, who is also the champion in the 2021 Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup.